Two people sit down to learn the same skill, same book, same hour, same effort. 1 month later, one of them is noticeably better. The other feels stuck exactly where they started. You've probably assumed this comes down to talent. It doesn't. It comes down to something far more mechanical happening inside the brain, and it has almost nothing to do with intelligence. Your brain doesn't learn by simply absorbing information, it learns by physically rewiring itself. Every time you practice something, a fatty substance called myelin wraps a little tighter around the neural pathway you just used. Think of it like insulation on a wire. The more insulated the wire, the faster and cleaner the signal travels. A well-myelinated skill feels effortless. A poorly myelinated one feels like wading through mud. This is where a lot of people get learning wrong. They assume repetition alone builds this insulation. It doesn't. A psychologist named Anders Ericsson spent decades studying elite performers, from violinists to chess players to surgeons, and found the same pattern again and again. The people who improved fastest weren't practicing more hours, they were practicing in a completely different way. Ericsson called it deliberate practice, and the core of it is brutally simple. You have to work at the edge of your ability, failing constantly, correcting immediately, and never coasting on what you already know how to do. Coasting is the trap. Comfortable repetition feels productive, but your brain barely reinforces a skill it isn't struggling with. Struggle is the signal. It tells your brain this pathway matters, wrap it tighter. There's a second ingredient most people skip entirely: sleep. A researcher named Matthew Walker has shown that memory consolidation, the process of locking new skills into long-term memory, happens overwhelmingly during sleep, not during the practice session itself. Skip the sleep and you can practice for hours and barely keep half of it. So the person who's learning faster than you probably isn't smarter. They're likely doing three unglamorous things. They're practicing at the edge of failure instead of inside their comfort zone. They're getting immediate feedback instead of guessing, and they're sleeping enough for the brain to actually finish the job overnight. None of this requires natural talent. It requires knowing where the real bottleneck is. And the real bottleneck was never your brain's capacity. It was how you were using it.